Right, welcome back to More Knowledge. This one is basically going to be about some fabrication of history, including the Roman Empire fabrications. We're just going to start with this, the meaning of embroidery, right? To embroider the truth, to add embellishments or fanciful details, right? To make things up, right? Basically to fabricate, lie, make something up, right? To embroider. Here we see the Bayeux Tapestry, right? Bayeux Tapestry. And here's the Bayeux Tapestry, right? A unique artifact created in the 11th century. So we know what the 11 is, right? 1066, right? It's 70 meters long, and they into the embroidered cloth, right? So they're telling you it's embroidered, right? Nice and 7 all over it. So basically telling you that it's made up, it's fabricated, it's a lie, right? Embroidered. Of course, in the code, number codes, 6 and 6 for 12, right? So you have either a 777 code or you have 3. Then add the 1, and it's a 13, right? 13, so 13 is either the Dalit, 1 and 3 for 4, or the bad luck, the death type of thing, see? Dalit or death. Dalit for trans and death and naturals. Of course the 7s are lower. Embroidered. And there's some very, very interesting code about this one, right? The Bayeux idea, right? The Bayeux in Turkish. You'd see Turkic languages use the word Bayeux as a title, right? So the Bayeux, this Bayeux idea becomes Bayeux, right? So you know the G and B, the pillars, right? Remember, this is supposed to be an 11th century picture or whatever, right? So it's B and G are the 2 pillars, right? So the B and the G, Boaz and Joch and the 2 pillars, or the 11, see? The 11. There, even the pictures of it, right? Absolutely filled with code, right? Take the horse's legs, for example, right? See the 7 on the leg there. Clear 7, right? So these, 1, 2, 3, so you've got basically a 777 there, right? Then there are things like that all over this painting or tapestry thing, full of coded pictures, right? So very, obviously a fake and a fraudulent thing in the embroidery, see? Embroidered truth. Of course, as you would expect, 70 meters there, 2 3 for your 33, and there 5 and 2, another 7. So absolutely coded. So basically that tells that this story is all made up, right? The 11th century, the 2 pillars, of course. The 2005 books, really, very, Romanesque. The art of Europe, see, Romanesque. Romanesque art is the art of Europe. And the term was invented in 19th century art historians, especially for Romanesque. So that's basically giving away the story about the Roman idea, right? It's 19th century basically. 19th century, the Roman idea. Of course, yeah, that is basically the same as Roman, isn't it? And the designs are embroidered. Of course are, see, it's made up. Bit more code in it here. The Bayeux in the Ottoman Turkish, see, it look like a 6. See, so it's 1066. This looks like a 6, a hex, see. So lots of hex involved in it. The chieftain, of course, because it's to do with the kings and the all that. The Bayeux ruled. Gaelic. The Golden Horde. T's. Great T's. A bit more code to do with it. The Bayeux. Person of unknown sex, or people of both sexes are referred to. A bit of trans code in as well, see, the Bayeux Tapestry. Les. I've seen these codes before, see, the Bayeux Tapestry. Now we'll come to the Walter Scott, right, and the Ivanhoe, right. So we've seen the Romanesque art there, right, the Romanesque, and the Norman as well is basically the same as Roman, right. So now we'll come to Ivanhoe, and Ivanhoe is the Romance. It's titled Ivanhoe Romance, right. It's by Walter Scott. So the Romance idea. The Romance, set 12th century England. So you'll see Romanesque art, right? Obviously the pillars again, right? Arch, like the Royal Arches. Leon the Lion, right? Nice artwork on that. It's supposed to be from very early period, 1160 to 75. Of course, all the same codes again. The life of David, the third king, the third king of the United Kingdom of Israel, right? And Romanesque art from what these times, right? Apparently, right? But as we say, the term was invented by 19th century art historians. So that's fairly, late. It's just 100 years ago, 200 years ago type of thing, innit? So it's not that old, like with what they're trying to claim. Romanesque architecture. Very nice style of architecture and all that. But not as old as what they're claiming, like. Ivanhoe Romance, right? Yeah. Released in December 1819, so that's the 19th century, right? And the genre, chivalric romance. sort of like a chivalric romance, like the Knights Templar type of thing, right? Chivalric romance. So look at this, you can basically see, like, you know, where the Roman Empire comes from, basically. The Knights Templar and that type of Greek style pose, isn't it? The Scott Monument. So very much one of the classic writers is Walter Scott. And all the classic themes what we see about here, you know, which are always presented and all that. Even a bit of a Jimmy Savile look-alike, see? The same things over and over again. So Sir and then Baronet. Oh, Baronet as well. Of course the two-bar cairn. Probably the lion's paw with the hand. And this character was basically very instrumental, see, in formulating the Roman Empire idea. You know, what people have been brainwashed with in the sort of present day, right? As you can see, lived from that time to that time, so very much to do with, you know, formulating that period where they introduced ideas about the Roman Empire into the sort of historical Jesus background and all that, see. One of the very important people, see. Romanticism. European and Scottish literature, see. Very influential writer. Major impact on European and American literature. Basically one of the creators of Roman Empire idea, right? So obviously that's not going to write that in here, but that's basically what it is. The Romanticism. This is basically where the Roman Empire idea comes from, right? Because if you read the Bible, say the Bible, like Old Testament, New Testament, there's ideas about like Roman empires in it. There's the book of Romans in the Old Testament, but the type of ideas what we equate with Roman empires and all that type of idea is not mentioned in the Bible, see. It's been embroidered afterwards, see, by characters like Walter Scott and all that. Of course, Lord Byron, another famous one, very influential character, see. That's why these are very famous writers and all that. They basically wrote the script, the script of reality, supposed reality, see, what we're living in that. The Romantic movement towards the end of the 18th century and into the 19th century. This is when it was all done, see. Industrial Revolution, Age of Enlightenment, all coded there. Chess, of course I love chess. And the natural sciences, understanding about transes and naturals and how to trans people. I think I'll do another video on this one because there's a lot more knowledge to do on it. Romanticism revived medievalism, see. In other words, they made up a load of early history at this period. Just made it up.